and welcome to episode 7 of Inside the Race, the MyWhoosh Racing Podcast, with me, Emma Martin, and my co-hosts, Hayley Simmons and Matt Payne.
Thank you to everyone who has interacted with us so far, who's liked, subscribed, and everything else, watched our videos, listened to us on the podcasts, and please keep sharing.
Definitely keep sharing. Today we go inside the MyWhoosh Championships. It's stage 2, Attack on the Hills. We're going to look at the movers and shakers, who was making the racing and who was maybe being shaken on the way through. I'm not sure I should ask this question on a short, punchy, climby day rather than a big, long, draggy day. But Hayley, were you a mover or were you a shaker today in Category 2?
I think I was a bit of everything at different times. Also a groveler. The racing's never easy, is it? It was a hard day out there. It was always going to be hard, but the early climbs were punchy, and it was just important to stay vigilant. And then it split, as you guys will have seen, on that longer climb. But for me, I was happy because I held on to that front group of 12, and then managed to sneak in an 8th place at the finish. So generally for me, a good day. But no, enough about my race. Let's go inside the race.
So let's dive inside the race. Let's dive inside the women's race first of all and take a look through. Now, we are going to go through and pick out some of the key action rather than summarize everything. So if you want the in detail, then please do go to mywhooshinfo.com for everything from demographics right the way through to time splits and up and down positions and everything you ever wanted. Even Emma's happy with the stats on there. And don't forget all the official results on mywhoosh.com. Let's do the women's results first. Let's go 6-1, Category 6 first of all. And I'm going to do simultaneously 6 things, so I'm going to apologise right now for being really rubbish at doing this fast. Let's talk about Kavira Reis, Angie Reis on the climbs today. She absolutely smashed it. She was really, really strong. Hurtado, though, her sprint has moved her up 2 places at the finish there and put her into the race lead in Category 6. So really good move by her in Category 6.
Moving on to Category 5.
Yeah, indeed.
So in women's Category 5, Amy Loxley battled on the climbs today, and she moved up 2 places on the GC. But Victoria Sewell, her winning move, moved her up 3 places. And so she's going to have the honour of wearing that golden leaders jersey tomorrow.
She is indeed. And in Category 4, it was all about the climbs. The strong climbers today moved up on GC2. Martinuski, she went up 8 places. Pekka Kova went up 7. Becker went up 13 places on GC today. And Alzat stays on top, but it's just 5 seconds now separating the top 4 because of those climbing performances.
And I think it's, for me, the climbs today were really instrumental in that. And it's not just the categorized climbs. And I really want to emphasize that, I think, because for me, the very first climb, I know Hayley's nemesis because it was steep, but it is. It was one of those things that you had to find a method to go over, and you had to have a plan for, to be then going into 2 and then work your way through the lumps and bumps going into that final climb. I think for me, it's been interesting because it's not always been the climbers as much as the GC riders. I don't know about you, Emma. Was your take on it different to mine?
Well, I think you are right. It's climbers versus GC. And today, well, Category 4 today, it just really was about, people who stayed in the pack deliberately yesterday and didn't show their hand, today was the day they did in Category 4. And those riders that we've just talked about, Martinuski, for example, she rode a really steady race yesterday. She sat in the wheels. She did very little work. For want of a term, she had an easy day. Today is the reason she did that, because she obviously had a plan. It was fabulous to watch. She worked so hard on those climbs. She really did. Every time we went into that pain cave, she was working and she was pushing. Pekka Kova as well, Becca Alzat, and it really was that climbing competition. Nina Dowling as well rode strong. It is interesting how much they've moved up on GC, but actually how close that top of the GC competition is. We've talked about the climbing competition and how it is structured. 40 points in the climbing competition available over the first 3 days, 70 points on stage 4 and 5, and then a further 26 points on stage 6 and 7. It is quite an equal split if you split the 2 big days out, but you've still got to have those other points to back you up.
It is interesting, isn't it? Because it's a difference from last year as well, where the first 3 stages were almost quite sedate, and then we went to Zurich, and it kind of gained momentum in terms of the size of the climbs over the week. Today was almost a bit of a sneaky, really hard climbing stage that was put in early on, and it was funny because an email came through this morning saying from the general daily email from Race Control saying, I think today's maybe harder than we maybe thought it would be, but have fun, everyone. So, but it made a lot of changes.
It did. And I think for me, the way that we saw climbs, and you picked on Hannah-Pekka Kova there, that she actually took the sprint win in the end, and we know her more as a sprinter, but she was pulled on the climbing legs in the morning and gone, do you know what? I need to be able to do this, and being able to go over, because when you look at Pekka Kova, she's scoring points in the climbs competition, but she's actually going over the climb so that she's in there for the race win at the end. I think the climb competition is just totally incidental, and I think it's representative of a lot of the climbs competition across the women's race category. So
I'm loving the idea that you get up in the morning, you open your wardrobe and you go, climbing legs, sprinting legs, GC legs. I'll have those ones today. Thank you very much.
I don't have that option, so it's a moot point for me. I've not got any sprinters legs ever.
I would love to, but I don't even have a wardrobe. So to be honest, so I've just got a rail. I'm not sure it works with the rail instead of opening a wardrobe. Jen Reel has definitely opened up the wardrobe and turned around and gone, what legs do you want? I want winning legs. I think there's no other word for it. Absolutely flying at the moment, for sure. Fast finishing Melissa Tuoma, moving up 2 places on GC. Still, it's nothing separating the top. I think, am I correct in thinking it's 1 second separating the top 10?
I think around the top 7 or 8 in category 3. It is, so close. Jen Reel, she manages to go out again on stage 3 in the leader's jersey. She'll be very pleased about that.
What a run, and Tuoma right in there.
Well, talking of tight at the top, category 2, Hayley, 6 seconds currently separates the top 12 riders. It is tight at the top.
Top 12, isn't that you, Hayley?
Yeah, I'm just hanging out in 12th place at the moment. Yeah. Yeah.
I was only going to say, there's another rider hanging out in the top 12 at the moment who has a lot else going on in their life at the moment.
Yes, and I mean, kudos to her for being on the start line this morning, especially with her time zone. But a certain Sarah Roach got married after yesterday's stage and sent me some wedding pictures. Actually, partway through today's stage, we just, had a little chat.
Partway? Hang on. Let me just get this. Whoa. Hang on. You got these pictures sent to you whilst you were racing the MyWhoosh Championship by somebody else racing the MyWhoosh Championship.
Yeah.
Are you
she,
mental?
Yeah, we were just touching base at some point. I think it was after the first QOM at one point, in the kind of more sprinty section in the middle. I saw my phone light up, and there was a message from Sarah, and then 2 photos, and it was her wedding pictures. I was like, "Oh, mate,"
Brilliant.
that's. And then of course after we finished the race, I said, "Can we please show your happy day photos on the podcast?" And she said yes, of course. So, but I mean, to get married yesterday and then get up at whatever time it is for her there to be on the start line for stage 2 and then have such a great race again today is just really amazing.
Yeah, she moved up into second place overall as well today. So she's gone up from third to second. So a great job, and congratulations, Sarah.
Congratulations, Sarah. Definitely a brilliant job. Well done. And Emily Soper's taking 2 out of 2 stages as well. Not many people get to win in that leader's jersey 2 in a row on sprint stages. That's impressive for sure. Let's move our way in to category 1. And overall, things have just changed at the top. And that's because Kate McCarthy has moved up 6 places into number 1 spot. Gabby Guerra's moved up 8 places into number 2. And whilst in the rest of the bunch there was a big old sprint coming in, we started to see maybe the first foray of the top 2 kicking out and on the climb. For me, that was very, very telling on the first big climb.
Yeah, I think you looked at today's profile and you did think that possibly some people would want to start showing where their legs are and giving that first indication. I think that's definitely what we saw today. And I think it'll make some people question maybe tactics for tomorrow, which is a little bit flatter. But I think people will be quite wary heading into Bhutan and then to Colombia on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, 18 seconds at the top. The sprint competition was interesting, though, as well in category 1.
Absolutely brilliant, isn't it? I think the sprint between Van Schuur and Soderstrom, definitely an absolute blast.
Tillyfield was doing a phenomenal job out there as well, in that sprint competition. She really messed it up between them on some of those efforts. It was great.
Yeah, Tilly can have a bit of fun this week because she's racing as an individual, so it allows her to have a bit more freedom with what she's doing, and I think we could actually see some really aggressive racing from her as a result of that. But the team competition as well in category 1, it's opened up a little bit. We've got the Sweat Sensations at the top of the table, the FCC Endorphins, and then Ablock International. And at the moment, there's 1 minute and 6 seconds, I think, separating those 3 teams. But I think we're going to see bigger time gaps appearing on the stages that we have to come. So I wouldn't say it's over yet.
I wouldn't say it's over yet. No, I agree with that. I think this is really going to change things on the way through. I think particularly when we come on to the bigger climbs and we get our hill climb specialists into gear on there and we start seeing people who can really race an uphill as well.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I think when you look at the riders in those squads, I mean, you've got McCarthy and Ablock International, who will go strong. You've got Kristen, who is a strong climber, who will back her up. But then you've got Gabby Guerra in the Sweat Sensations crew. She's got Mel Bruni, who once those I've raced an Ironman on Sunday legs finally shake themselves out, she'll be going strongly when it comes to those climbs. They'll really, really suit her. Ironman, long time trial. That type of work. There's also Catherine Fuhr in there and Nicole Mayer. They will pack quite closely on the climbs, the Sweat Sensations. But then the FCC Endorphins, I think one of the strengths of the FCC Endorphins, I mean, we've seen great sprinting from Gallegos and Van Heuling already. But they've got Tomasi and Olberg, both of them really strong climbers. And Mina Koivunen is no slouch uphill either.
No, and her recent Sunday Race Club results have shown that she can be right up there, almost it doesn't matter what the course is. Her results have been so consistent. So I think it's going to be a really tight battle, and it'll be, I think Mary-Kate McCarthy will be almost kind of aware of how much time maybe she needs to try and take on some of those longer climbs in order to, create a big buffer between herself and maybe some of the other riders who, as you said, might be more tightly grouped together.
Well, let's hear from one of those great climbers, shall we? Let's hear from Kristen Kulchinsky.
Well, welcome to Inside the Race, to Kristen Kulchinsky. Kristen, it's brilliant to see you. Last time we saw you, I think, was at the World Championships. It feels like a long time ago, where we infamously commentated on pizza eating, I think, last time, live in the hotel restaurant. We're in somewhere utterly as random. Again, I know where Hayley is and I know where Emma is. Where on earth are you at the moment?
I'm in my workshop in East Hampton, Long Island, New York. So where I come after I do either SRC or the MyWhoosh Championships.
So you're working after racing?
Yeah. A few people asked me, they were like, oh, so what's like the stage? Are you going to like rest and recover after? I'm like, I have to go to work. I'll just get there earlier. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess it's that effort that you have to put in and keep something aside for work, I guess, because it's been a lot of an interval session, I think, in category 1. You've been we've described it as going hot and cold in the studio. We're working our way through phrases, but how do you balance that interval session on the racing as it is now? It's very much on and off. And that intense effort with then having to go to work.
Well, luckily I do like rest a little bit after the race. I do a little bit more riding just to kind of cool the legs down, start to recover, put the boots on and yeah, but then thankfully with my work, it's just very arm heavy and concentration heavy, but it's such a nice way to kind of just like recalibrate and like let, what happened during the race kind of go and then just kind of reset for the next day and just focus on my work. So I do love that balance.
Yeah, to be honest, I think actually having a bit of a like mental reset, something different to think about, can be really, really healthy. And especially in a stage race where it's just on all of the time and you have to concentrate so hard all day or all race on what's coming up on the stage. So I think actually that bit of mental reset can just be super nice.
Yeah. I had a friend come to stay with me this weekend before the race. I'm like, this is great. It was distracting me. I wasn't like so focused on, being like, oh my God, and, and letting all the nerves kind of get to me. And then I had such a wonderful time, but then she left and then all the nerves hit me and I was having like anxiety. My mom was like, are you okay? I'm like, I will be, but not right now.
Yeah.
And of course I knew once the first day went, everything would be fine. But there are, a lot of things that we have to prepare for the day of the race. And then also for the whole week to be able to perform at our best. So kind of like it slapped me in the face when she left.
I do know the feeling.
Have the first 2 stages gone as you expected?
Fairly so. I think stage 1 was pretty much, Josh predicted it. He was like, oh, I know what's going to happen. And it was kind of what he was kind of thinking. But, there's always like surprises at the end of like where those dominoes are going to fall. You always kind of like, with the sprint finish, it's just like everyone's barreling through and it's kind of like, where'd I go? Where'd I finish? So that was exciting to kind of see Elise win and just kind of see where everyone else ended up. But I think that like the later races obviously are going to be where a lot of time gaps are kind of going to be opening up. And I think for me personally, that was like just damage control, that race, because I think it was fairly tame, as you saw, until like the end. And of course, the sprint competition has been, crazy. So like, I think everyone was kind of letting them do their thing, and the pack was happy to kind of let them do it, and then we got ready for the finish. So that was damage control for me, and and then day 2 was super fun, and I'm excited to keep on going.
So we obviously saw Mary Kate and Gabby Guerra kind of come to the front a bit today. But there are some new riders within Category 1. So Stephanie Mader, Ashley Mormon-Passio. Is that changing the racing up in Category 1 a little bit?
I think perhaps maybe because MyWhoosh Championships is a different beast, I feel like, than SRC, but I feel like the girls that have been racing and know each other quite well, even for years before this, kind of know everyone's style. I think, they've raced a few times on SRC, so I feel like they do know. But I think the rest of us kind of can predict what might happen. So maybe they're taking a few more chances, perhaps. But the new name, I always love to see the new, not that Ashley's new. I mean, she's, I've always looked up to her so much. And I actually sent her a message. I'm like, it's so awesome having you race with us. So, I was pretty excited for her. I thought she won yesterday also. And then I was like, second. So
that was, honestly, that was so close. I mean, I did message Elise and say, Elise, could you make it a bit easier for me to get the call right next time?
Yeah. It's all timing on that part too. She had mentioned like she got the timing right, and so bravo to both of everyone. So yeah.
Well, let's talk about you for a little bit, because you moved up to 10th on GC today. It was a good day for you, particularly as you've just said, actually you're sort of damage control and waiting for the later stages. So you are, it's not just damage control. You're starting to put yourself in a stronger position for those later stages. I mean, what is your target? Is your target the Queen of the Mountains? Is it those climbs? Is it performing to your best? Because, we know you as a great hill climber. Or do you have a target for GC, or what are your goals for the championships?
I feel like going in, I have my eye on the Masters competition. And I moved into that position today, which is great. Of course, I have my eye also on the GC, the overall. It's going to be, everyone is just like you can imagine so many different scenarios of where people would be, and it'll be interesting seeing how it battles out. I think, basically GC, obviously the team competition is always most important, I feel. And just having fun with the girls and on my team, and then also the rest of everyone else racing. I think for me, the QO, the mountain competition, I mean, it's pretty, to go for that would probably be putting me a little too out there. I want to keep myself, what's the saying, the powder dry a little bit for the later stages. I'm very excited for that longer Columbia stage, and then also the time trial. I think that's going to be the two races that really will start to make a huge difference. And
and they will come up later.
Definitely. I think it's really interesting, isn't it? I think with the way that the course has been laid out, we build into the mountain stage on the big, climbers like you and climbers like Hayley are going to love, and people who are normal like me are going to absolutely hate. But I'm literally in a podcast with 3 people, I think, who would love the course just to go uphill all the time on a really good time trial pace and be able to set
gradual gradient, keep it steady.
So I am going to represent those people who don't know. Yeah, Steve, exactly. It's got to go up. I mean, the points weighting that is here, where we see the really big climbs, like we're going to see on the climb you just mentioned, going up those 2 big steps. I mean, the points weighting does mean it really does throw the advantage to people who can climb big climbs rather than just those little climbs. Do you think that's weighted enough for a climbs competition, or would you like to see it more evenly spread, maybe, so that there's more. It's more of a battle. Would you like to see that weighting increased even more? How would we wave a magic wand? Kristen's in charge of where the points are and where they go. Not necessarily every course, but what would you do? How would you do that?
I mean, for me personally, and the style that I like to race, and also what I'm training for summer outdoor racing, yes, like just a longer, hour power or hour and a half power, just kind of more consistent effort. Yeah, I mean, last year we had Mount Fuji, and I loved that one. I thought that was awesome. Some more Mount Fuji.
I'm with you.
Right?
I'm totally with you. Totally with
more
you.
Mount Fuji. Give me Mount Fuji. Give me endurance climb even. I love that.
Yeah.
Like 10-minute and then little rest and then 10-minute again. But again, that's just like what I'm currently training for, these like very explosive high-low efforts, even though I kind of the last couple of weeks have been throwing that in with my training to prepare. For the training that I've been doing right now is more like that consistent over under, but not like over where everyone's like.
I stand with Kristen. I want the long. I have to be fair, I have to say, Matt, I think training with you in France actually really helped me for this MyWhoosh Championships because I had and actually training with Emma on the e-bike and me just trying to sprint off on short climbs because I was I had to.
There
learn
is
to be a
method
bit
in the
punchy.
madness. You do realise this, and why we go out on the e-bike on the climb and make you go uphill at 25 kilometres an hour, or why I go out and play silly what's it sprinting. Kristen, when you're training, I'm going to ask. This is my sneaky question, by the way, folks, just so that you know. I don't want anybody to miss out on the sneaky question. Sneaky train question. Are you the rider that goes out as Billy No Mates and trains on your own with your own headphones on? Is that your personality, or are you? Because I think of you as sort of being a lot of fun and a lot of party, having watched your social media. Would you rather go out with a gang of people and train together? What would you rather do, and then what do you actually do?
I mean, what I do actually outside is I always am riding alone outside. So I am excited when I get to ride with someone. If they're out here from New York City that I know, or when I go on the road, I force Josh to ride with me, or he's usually in the car following me. I think, I mean, I do like to just be in my own world. So riding for me is like my therapy. And like sometimes if I am with someone else, I feel that like, oh, I have to talk. So like I'm usually just bam out there, and it's nice to see people on the road. I give the wave. Here and there, like there's a group of guys that do ride out at Montauk, and I've seen them on the road a few times where like last year I just tagged along with them, which was super fun. They couldn't get rid of me. I was just like,
Did you not get rid of them? I thought it'd be the other way around.
Yeah. Well, when we it was after SRC one time. So I was just out there riding for like a couple hours early in the morning. And then, it was fun. But
the post SRC rides is when Matt tries to drop me as well, on the way to the cafe, the Sunday afternoon cafe run, and Matt's attacking me up the climbs.
That's fun.
I see no problems with attacking people after they've been racing at all whatsoever. Win's a win. I think you've answered that, Kristen, in fine style there. I think for me, one of the key things that we're looking forward to is going to be the clients, going to be the positions. I'm going to throw two cheeky questions in now. Emma's going to hate me for this, but tough because she's cooking. There she is. Cheeky question. Where do you predict you're going to finish? Pick one number. I only want one number. I don't need it.
That is a horrible question.
Prediction.
I mean, I would love a top 10, obviously, wherever that may be. Again, it's like I could have a great day, couple of great days. Someone who is ahead of me can have a bad day. But like, I think top 10 in this field is what I would be really thrilled with. That is I say this every week, like from SRC, even, the level, it's like it just gets raised and raised every week. So I think at where it is currently and I looked at Strava after the race today, and there was all-time PRs from today for 20 minutes and 15 minutes. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I did keep my powder a little drier than theirs. But yeah, I think a top 10, I'd like to obviously take the Masters win.
Come on, give me a number. Give me a number. Top 10.
Don't be mean, Matt.
I mean,
you've heard about my training.
I don't know. It's hard to say. Everyone's doing really well. I mean,
yeah.
Let's put it. I'm going to step in and help you here, Kristen, because I've got you down for a lot better than the top 10. So there you go.
Okay. Well, thank you. I mean,
the climb is big.
She'd like it. She would like to be better than top 10, but she doesn't feel she can say.
Well, it's because people are really surprising me. So, like, of course, you go in and you're like, this person's going to be here and there and and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. So, like, there's surprises. I think going in, if you wanted me to give a number, I thought anywhere from probably, maybe like a 5th through 8th would be probably where I would sit. But I think now, I would be very thrilled with top 10 team win, obviously, and a Masters. I think that's good. I think that's enough.
I think that
we'd all take that in a blink. We would all take that in a blink. Believe me, that's for
and
sure.
that team competition itself is going to be a really tricky one out there because the 3 teams now starting to pull away, but there is some real, and it's been fabulous, I have to say, just watching the team competition monthly on the SRC and then to magnify that and put it over in 8 days, in 7 stages, it really is going to be a battle to the wire, I think, that team competition. So good luck.
Yeah, very much so.
Thank
good luck.
you. It's keeping it exciting and keeping it motivated. Yeah, it was, it was upsetting because we did lose one of our teammates wound up getting sick. So we were a squad of 5, and then our other really strong rider had to rest out. So so hope she feels better. We miss her.
Yes, big
but
wishes.
We have a Discord chat all day long popping off, and so it's always nice.
Yeah, hopefully she feels better soon and gets well and is back to racing. But good luck, Kristen, to you and the rest of the team. It's been absolutely fabulous to chat to you today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day.
Thank you for having me. Thank you all so much.
See you soon.
Well, we've been inside the women's racing, but now let's turn our attention to the men's racing and see what happened in categories 6 all the way through to category 1.
Indeed. Let's go dive in and across. If I can press the buttons quick enough. Always a dangerous thing when we're bringing you the podcast here on Inside the Race. 2026 men, that's category 6. Really interesting race. Jonathan Vegas finish, taking away the win here today. That moved him up. It wasn't just a 1, 2, 3 places. Oh, no, he moved up 12 places on GC. What a move by him. Great finish from him. Doesn't take the GC overall. That goes to Andre Gosler, who takes away the leader's jersey into tomorrow. Really interesting, given the domination of Ola Warren in that sprint competition. Really interesting, the difference in how riders are racing that. Yeah,
it is indeed. But can I just say, everybody needs to follow Jonathan Vegas' social media because at the end of the race today, he gave his dog a high 5 for the win. Pets of the Peloton are us.
It's going to happen at some point in a future show.
Yes, I love the fact that you win a stage, you high 5 your dog. That's the way to do it. In Category 5, Nick Spratt was clearly targeting the climbing competition today, whereas the sprint competition is a lot more competitive. Cat 5, not Ola Warren, but Joel Warren, the younger of the Warren household, being in those sprints. But Mazzaros and Kendall, there's not a lot to separate those three riders in that sprint competition yet. And there's 20 points on the line tomorrow in tomorrow's stage. And I think we're going to see the three of them battle it out on the course. That one is going to continue.
Yeah, in men's category 4, we saw Aidan Sinclair racing so well again in the sprints and on the climbs. It continued into today, and that moved him up 10 places on the GC. So he's now sitting in 5th. However, it's Giuliano who takes the leader's jersey tomorrow from Ungara.
Yeah, a switch of jerseys between those two. In Category 3, 7 seconds separates the top 23 riders. It's just amazing, isn't it? Absolutely amazing. And whilst Adar and Hulhorst are battling it out tomorrow in the climbing competition, Mason Rocker now has a 7-point lead in that sprints competition. He's going to go in. It's not comfortable yet. He's going to go in and he'll need to push on tomorrow. But he is in a strong foundational place.
He's a strong foundational place. I like that phrase. That might have to come into the commentary on the show tomorrow. That's an absolute perler. Absolute perler today, ridden by Josiah Betty, hanging on to that leader's jersey today. Given the way that race unfolded, coming in with the lead, ahead of Mr. X100, with the rest of the bunch, Peter Milostic, absolutely rider of the day. The breakaway that he put in there, he moves up 30 places. We thought 12 was good. 30 places in the overall because of that win, into 3rd place behind Mr. X100 and Josiah Betty. Betty, though, hanging on to the lead in GC. There's a little thought in my head. I know this is dangerous. Sorry, folks, but a little thought in my head. Is it possible that you could win the GC with a breakaway, but just ride with everybody else on the climb? So not win it on the climbs by a big climb margin, but put a breakaway in and take away the overall win because of the time you gain there, and then just sit in the wheels on the climb. Can it be done, do you think?
I think it can. I mean, from watching the men's racing today, there were quite a few opportunistic attacks as the course flattened from the descent onto that flat section, because actually there wasn't a lot of flat running. So if you timed it quite well, you could actually get a bit of a gap. And it is possible in some of those categories that actually if you timed an attack correctly, even if it's in the final run into a stage, then you could actually get enough seconds. You know, we saw some really tight time gaps last year. So with that in mind, any opportunity you have to make a small time difference could actually be, you know, GC changing.
Yeah, I mean, Category 2 last year, you're really right, Hayley. Last year, 40 seconds separated the top 4 GC riders after all 7 stages on the MyWhoosh Championships in Category 2. Peter Milostic's got the right idea. Last year, he was in 2nd place, 16 seconds back. And, you know, today, he made an effort. You know, that attack wasn't on the climb. It was over the top of the climb and onto the descent where he got his time. He might be thinking about that 16 seconds and where do I pick up that type of gap early and then complete the rest of the race, but race strong. But everywhere you can get seconds count.
Yeah. Okay, so basically the opinion is possibly, but not probably.
I think possibly. I think the exception that we're maybe going to see is Category 1, isn't it? Which we can talk about now. And honestly, what a race that was. You know, Jason Osborne went, he came back, he went again, and then honestly, what a ride from Ruben Dhont. He did so much work out there, and he moves to 3rd on GC. So you know, other riders. Yeah, like I think Ruben probably would have liked some other riders to maybe help him out a little bit, but he did so much work and he's benefited from that. we've also seen some other changes on the GC, and Stefan van Aalst being another one. He went up 12 places and now sits in 4th.
Yeah, well, he does indeed, and it is getting competitive at the top. But why don't we hear from Ruben Dhont after that really exciting day's racing today? Welcome to Inside the Race, Ruben Dhont.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's fabulous to have you here at the end of stage 2 of the MyWhoosh Championships. Ruben, I am going to go straight in there because you personally have been providing some absolutely fabulous action out there in the Category 1 men's race during the first 2 days of the MyWhoosh Championships. It's just been a brilliant start. Just 2 points off of Jason Osborne in the climbing competition after 2 stages. And you went up 8 places on GC today with a lot of you making the action. Is it going to plan?
Well, I think yes. Yesterday was mainly focused on the team GC, so I was not focusing on the finish position because some strong riders went to the front, so we had to work a bit. Especially as there was like a late attack also yesterday, so I just went full. I knew people would pass me, but I was just keeping the pace high, so we wouldn't lose too much time. But today was a little bit different. Jason went off the front as usual, but I was feeling very great on the climb, so I just went myself also a couple of times. I also knew the climb was quite steep, so there was not so much draft possibilities. So I just went off, and in the end, it worked out perfectly for me and also for the team, actually.
Yeah, I mean, you demonstrated today that you're really on some exceptional form. So what was your preparation coming into this championship?
Well, usually, first of all, it's about understanding the draft dynamics and the pack dynamics. Because especially for me, it was a little bit difficult from the start, because I was used to other platforms where it was a little bit easier to sit in the draft. That process took quite some time to understand when to push and when not to push. And especially if you're on a small gap, usually that's not that big of a deal. But here on MyWhoosh, especially in Cat 1 against these monsters, it's very, very dangerous to leave a gap. Just understanding the dynamics first, and then just getting the more consistency, working more specifically on smaller hills, because if you compare it to outside racing, these hills are quite short. Like the biggest hill usually in SRC is like 30-ish minutes, not counting endurance climb, of course. I was just focusing on those kind of efforts. From nature, I'm quite an all-round type, quite punchy, not a pure sprinter, but after a hard race, I have a quite solid sprint. Focusing on those smaller climb efforts, and also the repeatability, obviously. I also did some stage race simulations towards this MyWhoosh Championship to understand my body, how I would react to multiple races after each other with different kind of efforts and intensities. So I just try to simulate a bit, and it's working out well. And also very important here in Europe at the moment, we are like close to a heat wave again. So I invested in air conditioning, a dehumidifier, ice vest, ice shells. So quite an investment compared to last year, where I was a bit caught off guard with the temperature and so on.
It really has shown, I think, that preparation, making those efforts and doing all the things that makes riders professional at this level. It really does show. When you've done those preparations, were they designed around a particular goal at the championship? So were your preparations to support as a team member, to take away a top 5, a top 10, or was it just about being up there and taking victories? How have you done that?
Well, the main goal was obviously Team GC, because we as a Zero Dux Racing, we are like racing together for quite some time. So it was really a goal for all four of us. But yeah, when I saw some start lists, so first the provisional start lists, I was already counting the names and was like doing some estimations for myself. Could I end up in the top 10 or not? Also, like for now, I'm in a good situation, but like the big stages are yet to come. So yeah, let's see how that will work out, because you can still lose a lot of time on those big mountain stages. But yeah, how things are looking now, I'm definitely aiming for at least the top 10 individually, and yeah, as a team, just aim as high as possible. Obviously, we know Jason, his team will be out of reach probably. Yeah, you never know, obviously, but yeah, we have to be realistic on that. I also had like a little side quest with the sprint GC, but that will be a hard situation. I'm also all of a sudden second in the climbing competition, but yeah, I don't think that will be a target because yeah, Jason is there still, so that won't really be a target. So yeah, mainly the finishes, so individually and both team wise. Also, yeah, two goals of mine.
The team is, I'm going to say, the team is racing really well. I mean, you are currently sat in third overall in the team competition, but I have been watching and looking for a number of the Zero Ducks racing crew that we normally see attacking and going off front. I'm thinking particularly Bjorn Andreasen has been hidden in the bunch for a very long time. And you're probably not going to answer this question, but does the team have plans for the later stages that might involve one or two of the riders we've not seen yet?
Well, I think first of all, you have to bear in mind this is not SRC, but this is like multiple stages. So we don't want to kill ourselves on the flat stages with a lot of climbing ahead of us. So we also want to keep our cards in our hands, obviously. Also, we can obviously attack on some stages at some point, but there is also the risk reward. There has to be a reward for the risk, and that's not really there yet. We will make plans for sure, but we try to save ourselves a little bit for the hardest stages are yet to come, because on a 70k flat stage like yesterday, if you are not Jason, it will be hard to take time. But with the mountain stages ahead, if you're a little bit fresher, you can really make a difference there. So we will for sure see all four of us also in those stages, hopefully.
Oh, looking forward to that already. One of the things you mentioned earlier on, you were talking right at the very start about doing a lot of the work today to close those gaps down as those gaps started to stretch towards the finish, and those gaps were closed really nicely. Would you like some of the other teams maybe to help a little bit more in terms of bringing Jason Osborne back? And or do you think, they've all got their own team strategies, but actually the only way I often think the only way anyone's going to bring Jason Osborne back is a lot of teams working together. Would you like to see a bit more of that, or do you feel the teams are a little bit looking at their own strategy for the race rather than thinking about how do you pull the world champion back?
Yeah, of course, I would like to have more teams working together, but you also have to keep realistic. Like everyone has its own plans, his own GC and team GC. So it will be hard to really work together with other teams. Also, like the ZDR2 team, that's not really like another team of us. We know most of the people over there, but in the end, we're still a little bit of competitors to each other still. As you could see yesterday, I think, besides our team, basically no one was pulling or trying to get Ollie and Jason back. That was a little bit unfortunate, but that's how things go. We just wanted to have the opportunities to have like a small gap to them, because if we also decide to stop riding, then the gap will expand, and then there will be no competition anymore for first or second team. So we try to stay quite close. Today we lost a little bit of time to Alphayor, but I think in general we did quite good. You could also see today and yesterday at some point Jason was losing time to the teams, to the groups behind him. So that's also nice that we could like kind of limit the losses, but yeah, we are still realistic. Jason is a couple of levels above the rest, so it will be very hard to actually bring him back. So yeah, we try our best, but yeah, we are also realistic in it.
Okay, so I'm going to ask one more sneaky question that's not on the script here. As always, diving in with something really, really a little bit sneaky that you may not want to answer. You've got a choice, and this is a very binary choice. You've got, on one hand, you've got a top 3 position in the stage race. On the other hand, you've got the sprint wins, given that you are the king of sprint wins on the Sunday Race Club with the most wins. You can only have one. Which one would you choose?
Well, it's easy, a top 3 in GC, because it's a bit weird that I'm considered a sprinter, because if you see the guys in Cat 1, I'm clearly not the best sprinter. I just can like surprise the pack from time to time, and once there is a gap, it's not easy to take me back from time to time. Obviously, I also need a bit of luck over there. But I think a top 3 in GC would be next level for me, because I'm more an all-rounder, and I still have to discover myself on the real mountain stages. A top 3 in GC would definitely be nice. That's what I would choose, actually.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, it's one of those where the fact that you hold the most sprint jerseys is obviously, is a great accolade, but it maybe makes people mistake your true characteristics, because obviously to win a medal at the World Championships, you have to be an all-rounder. So, we've seen that you can do many things. And thank you for making the first 2 days of racing really entertaining for us.
Yeah, it's been absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much, Ruben Dhont.
Thank you, Ruben.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
That was all about today. Why don't we look at tomorrow? Hayley, course preview, stage 3?
Yeah, so tomorrow we move a bit flatter, actually, which at first glance at the profile, you might think, hang on, that doesn't look flat. But then you look at the scale. I think actually this course initially scared Matt a little bit. And then he looked a bit closer at the scale and realized actually it's not all bad. But we're in Huderiat. It's Huderiat rolling route. And for the women, it's 50.6 kilometers total race length, 300 meters of climbing. And a lot of that 300 meters is concentrated around that Huderiat climb in the middle. That's the only climb checkpoint for tomorrow. There are 4 sprints spread out, 1 before the climb, 3 afterwards. But I think they look innocuous, but you're going to have to be a bit wary of those little bumps that you also see on the profile, because they're areas where you could get caught out if you're not paying full attention. The men are also in Huderiat, but they actually have a slightly longer route. They've got 66.6 kilometers, 442 meters of climbing, and they'll be doing that Huderiat Ascend climb twice. And this is something that the men haven't raced in Sunday Race Club. We've seen it on the Women's Sunday Race Club, but the men haven't actually raced this climb. So I'll be really interested to see how they approach that, because it is a stepped climb. There are some steeper sections, and then there's definitely some plateaus, but it brings a different dynamic to the style of climbing. The men also have 4 sprints, but they're spaced either side of that Huderiat climb on the 2 laps that they do. And they've actually got quite a short run in, actually, from the base of that second climb through to the finish at 66.6k.
So can I just ask, Hayley, as somebody who's done this, being in the women's race field, rather than the men who haven't, what are your tips to the riders in the men's peloton for getting up this climb well?
So for me, and it goes very much on the style of rider I am. So the last time I raced this, which I think was in March, it was last on the Sunday Race Club. It's a bit different because our race finishes at the top of the climb, whereas obviously tomorrow in both the men's and the women's race, we go around at the top and go back down. But for me, I hit the base of this climb in that Sunday Race Club race, and then I just rode a really constant power time trial to the top and tried to stretch it as much as possible. And every time it plateaued, I just kept the pressure on and kept going. And I ended up 6th, I think. So it was a decent ride from me. I was quite happy with that ride that day, but that's, for me, it's because I struggle more with those punches, I guess. Whereas I think what you're going to see in some of the men's categories, maybe even particularly the lower categories where they do tend to get quite excited. I think you're going to see some attacks on some of the steeper sections and possibly a bit of easing off on the plateaus before the pace goes up again.
Yeah, I think we're going to see, particularly in some of those bigger groups in the men's race, because there are 9 steps on this climb and they do go up plateau. So I think we might see the group stretch, come back, stretch, come back, stretch, come back. And I think that's going to be really interesting because I also think when the peloton does that, it levels the playing field a little bit between the sprinters and the climbers, in terms of who stays in the pack and who goes out the back.
Yeah, I agree. I think the only danger, and it's something that we talk about in road racing as well, is that at some point where you get that stretching, there's the possibility that the elastic will snap. And at some point, the groups will separate and won't come back together. And so it's going to be a lot about positioning and making sure you're just not wasting energy, but also that if somebody ahead of you is starting to struggle, you can just put in that little bit of extra effort to get yourself ahead of them so that you're not caught behind a split.
Don't forget, you can catch up with all of the information on MyWhooshinfo.com on the men's championship and the women's championship. You can download the tech guide, the rule book, www.mywhoosh.com/events. Well, that's it from us on day 2. A massive thank you to Kristen Kulchinsky and a massive thank you to Ruben Dhont for joining us. Day 2 has seen us in California, where we saw some riders rise to the top of those climbs and others face an uphill battle. Some sprinted to the summit. Some people were suffering, irrespective of which category of race, whether our competitors are racing for the win or the battling. Really, just to complete all 7 stages, they're done and dusted with stage 2, and it's time to get ready for stage 3 in Hadarea in the UAE. We're going to the home of MyWhoosh tomorrow.
We are, and please follow at MyWhoosh and at MyWhoosh Info. You can get so much information from at MyWhoosh Info. Download the app, get racing with us. Download it at www.mywhoosh.com. Subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. Please follow us at social media at MyWhoosh Racing. Interact with us. Give us a thumbs up. Tell us whether you've enjoyed what we're doing, what you'd like to hear or see from us, and just support us by sharing the show and telling your friends. All of our links and the links for our 2 wonderful guests today will be in the show notes. So if you've missed anything, you can catch up with it in the show notes.
Yeah, you can. And in our next show, stage 3 of the MyWhoosh Championships will be complete. I can't believe we're already on stage 3. It's nuts. We should have a clearer picture by then of the real contenders and who they are in the various categories. We'll also have 2 more great guests bringing their perspective of the racing to join us for Inside the Race.
We can't wait to see if anyone can control the chaos tomorrow. But until then, from all of us here,
Goodbye.
Goodbye.